Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are on planet Earth. Welcome to the Naughty Autie in Conversation. I'm your host, Harry Thompson, and today I'm joined by Summer Farrelly. Hi, Summer.
Hello, I just caught myself in.
Well, awesome. So Summer Farrelly is 15-year-old autistic advocate, public speaker, inclusion and education consultant, artist, animal-assisted learning program creator, and facilitator. Living within a family that consists of an autistic parent and two autistic brothers, each with their own complexities, gives Summer a unique perspective from a range of diverse angles. Summer has their own business, Autistic Perspectives, offering workshops and consults that educate from an autistic perspective, drawing on their negative experiences within the education system to create a positive outcome for others. So, Summer, as always, I'm going to kick it off with the question, how and when did you discover that you were autistic?
I think was either 4 or 5, real tiny, real small, and it's about all I can remember.
All right, okay, so you were really small and therefore it's
Yes.
difficult for you to remember life before you knew you were autistic.
Yeah, it's actually it's weird hearing people talk about how it was a big transition. And
Mm.
from my personal perspective here, I'm just like, that's this. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was always just that.
right, okay, that is interesting. Because I used to
It
think
was
I was,
actually,
say again, sorry?
it was, I think, my older brother, me, then my younger brother, and then my mum who got diagnosed. I think something like that order.
Okay, right. Yeah, because a lot of people I work with don't get diagnosed until they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s. So they have a whole life behind them in confusion. And I can't really understand what that's like because I was diagnosed 14, which I used to think was late, but it is compared to people like you, but not compared to a lot of people that I'm sure you and I come into contact with. So, what prompted perhaps your mum to start looking into assessments for all of you? What was going on?
Um, I think mostly when people started asking questions, because since everybody in my house was autistic, it was always like it's normal to do those sorts of things. And then having other people come into our house and look at that and go, "Why is your child sniffing the wall? That is a strange thing to do." And then everybody else just turning around and going, "Yeah, no, I can see why they do that. Just you want to know the texture of it, you want to know the smell of it, why not? Just go for it." And I think, yeah, it was just people sort of questioning why.
So your mum didn't question it because that's just something you did in your house.
It was because obviously she is late diagnosed. Well, probably not obvious, but she is. Um,
Yeah.
and then where was I? She was late diagnosed, and so all of these things in her life she'd always done, and us presenting all of those sorts of things was like, I remember doing that. That was cool.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any memories whatsoever of being assessed or diagnosed?
No, I was very tiny.
Okay, got it. So,
I hear I was a little bit sassy as a tiny child, though.
okay, I can imagine. What are some challenges you have faced in your journey as an autistic person? You know, like how was school, making friends, and
School's an interesting topic here.
okay.
So, I ended up being homeschooled for high school because primary school, what I did, it wasn't really my thing. I just realized it's probably different the way that schooling's worded for you
Okay.
because you're in the UK, but we've got primary school, then you go high school, and then you go university and that sort of stuff, I think.
We use
Don't
exactly
quote
the
me.
same. So far, we
Yeah,
use exactly the same terminology. So,
I don't know where we're at here. I don't know the word.
that's okay.
Confused?
No, that's all right. That's
But
absolutely
yeah,
fine. You
I
are for high school.
in in all of primary school, it was interesting.
Okay.
So I do like school a lot, and I did like doing the work, and I liked learning. There were a few teachers out there who could be a little bit more supportive. We'll just say that. And the social aspect for me was very, very difficult, and will continue to probably always be very difficult. I had lots of trouble making friends, and I was often bullied while I was in primary school
Mhm.
because it was just a lot of the you're average, you don't fit in, you are strange, therefore we dislike you.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of that, and so I went to distant education, actually, online schooling,
Okay.
and then that was, I gotta remember my life timeline now. Gotta think back.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
hard.
Year seven, which is the start of high school, to I think year eight, I
Mhm.
was distant education, which was good, but I wanted more time to study things more animal related because they're so cool. And
Yeah.
so I went to homeschooling, and now I'm at Open Colleges, which is online college, university, I guess.
Got it. And
So I'm
presumably
studying part-time.
that works out better for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So many of us understand that you have a deep love for animals. Has that always been the case? Can you remember a time ever when that wasn't the case? Has it always been?
I I've always had animals in my life, always had. Just they're so cool and they're so interesting and they have a lot to give. And so yeah, I've as long as I can remember I've had them, and before I can remember I've had them.
Mm.
I've had chickens since I think I was around 18 months old.
Okay. So clearly your mum likes chickens as well.
Actually, she despised chickens.
Okay.
Then we went to the markets, and I saw this adorable Polish chicken, which is the Afro ones.
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, Mum, hear me out. This is a great deal we're talking about right here. You should get me that, and I should have it, and it should be mine.
And she agreed.
Uh, with She's very reluctant because she did truly believe that they were smelly creatures. Her mind was soon changed. And in a stroke of genius, I took the Polish hen and I named it Polly because I'm just such a logical human when it comes to naming things.
Yeah, that does make
You just get something to do with it and then you put E on the end.
sense.
Polly.
I have to confess, I used to be a little bit scared of chickens because
Ah,
they have one expression and they look a little bit ruffled and flustered. You know, I'm all good with people having one expression, but just not one quite so. They look like they're a little bit scared all the time. You know, I've warmed now. I think they rock now, honestly. But there was a time where I thought, I don't trust them. I don't trust poultry. Yeah.
trying
So
to
I
tell them
wanted,
straight one face and it's not working.
right. I wondered if you could talk to us a little bit about animal assisted learning and what that means.
So, with chickens, I created an animal assisted learning program, which it's called because I'm not a therapist and can't have a therapy program.
Hmm,
Turns out 9-year-old me and, in fact, now me do not have any degrees whatsoever.
makes sense.
So, unless I was a genius.
Mhm.
Anyway, fingers.
You probably are a genius, Summer. Yes, exactly.
Yes, fingers.
That's exactly what a genius would do.
Exactly. They'd be like, you know what?
Yeah, it's a very genius gesture.
Yes, yes, yes.
So just
All
exposure.
geniuses around the world.
Anyway, this program
Yes.
about
So it was originally built around, actually it was, gotta remember my backstory, my superhero backstory here. So if we go back to school, I didn't have many friends, which was probably given, but yes. And so I hung out with my chickens a lot, and the chickens helped me understand all the social interactions in the playground because they all had their own flocks and their groups, and they all broke off, and some didn't like each other, and some liked each other, and it was this whole sort of big playground scenario, but shrunk down to my backyard and easily viewable. So I started piecing together what was happening on the playground and what was happening in my backyard, and then using the chickens and the way they reacted to each other, as the way I should react to other people. And then I'd practice with the chickens. And so from there, I just sort of went, this helped me. It could help other people. I should do something. And slowly, with that mindset, it just sort of evolved and it continued. And now it's a program to help people neurodivergent, neurotypical understand each other and bridge that gap between the two in sort of like understanding other people's point of views. And it's got a very long list of benefits because I'm a genius.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, it's just sort of all those sorts of, I guess it all came from the idea of chickens make me feel happy. Other people should feel happy. I'm going to share that this makes me happy. And hopefully either it makes other people happy or it inspires them to go find what makes them happy.
Might seem like a strange question, but did you feel like you could empathize with chickens more than human beings?
Very much so. A sneaky little behind the scenes thing is part of the program was to attempt to help people understand the value in chickens. Because lots of people I worked with and stuff were just sort of like, oh, that's cute, that's funny. I hold no value, but it's cute. There's a real effort there.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of I built also on chickens are so cool. Let's just put it out there that they are really cool. Let's just.
They are, yeah. I think they get a bad rap, to be honest. What are some common misconceptions about chickens? Like, do they have love?
They gave me most of the empathy I had in my life. No, I have loving family.
Okay.
Loving family. I know you're watching. I'm sorry, but the chickens are really good.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. So was that the Chickens to Love program?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool, because that was going to be my next question. Why do you
What
think
genius? I covered all bases without you knowing.
genius? Yes, of course. Why do you think, from an autistic perspective, that the human to animal connection is so important? You've probably answered it in the last question, but feel free to expand on it because it is a really good topic. And obviously, on a personal level, we often meet autistic people who have more of an affinity with their dogs or their cats or their salamander than other human beings, right? Because we probably feel we're not being judged and
I was
scrutinized.
gonna say, part of me just immediately wants to say they don't yell at us and they don't really they don't do this whole I've decided now that I just dislike you for some reason and would like to go hang out with other people. They don't do that. They don't just go, today I feel like hating you.
Yeah,
There's none of that. It's like there's the unconditional love that comes from it. And there is that not being judged for doing something that's perceived as weird or quirky.
that's really interesting. I can remember growing up with dogs when I was younger, and I remember one of my dogs was being naughty, and my mum told the dog off. And I remember thinking, no matter how much anger we display towards this animal, she will never stop loving us. And I remember recognizing that as a very important lesson that was indirectly taught to me through the animal. I remember having that realization of we have to really not take advantage of this because this dog loves unconditionally. So I think animals do have that power, which is really cool.
Yeah. And I think that's just, God, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. You're a genius. I'm cool. That's how it works.
That's the team. It merges into genius coolness.
Yeah, love it.
Cool geniusness is this.
Exactly. And do you find it works? Can you convey your message to non-autistic people as well? Are they listening to you?
They're a little bit more difficult here,
Of course, yeah. Because they lack.
Yes. Yes, I think that is one of the most important parts, going back to the program here, for me, was bridging that gap in understanding. Because for some reason it's become like a big divide between worlds. And
Yeah.
I'm just sort of like, it doesn't have to be. I'm tiny and we have chickens. Let's do this. Let's create a bridge.
Yeah. Awesome. So what about your entry into autistic advocacy? How did that begin? What influenced you, or who influenced you, or did it just happen?
Very much so just happened. It was never a goal to become an advocate or do advocacy or social media influencing or any of that. And it's actually still very weird to hear that people think that of me because it was the same with the way that I created the program. This makes me feel happy. I want to share this and either inspire people to find what makes them happy, or this in itself might make them happy too. And so I just started sharing things on Facebook, and then it built, I guess, into sort of like this is things that I struggle with in life, and I hope this helps you understand yourself or helps you understand someone around you or someone you might just see randomly to have a little bit more understanding. And it comes back to bridging that gap in I word things, so eloquently
You
that
do.
can be understood
Yes.
somehow. Apparently, it's been said. I didn't say that. That's me quoting somebody else.
Yeah. I think I even told you that myself. So it's
Yes.
true. It's very true. It's undeniable.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure, but there you go.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah. And it's so, Harry, you could actually drown in that mug. I know. I refuse to drink out of tiny vessels, Annie. So if I drown, I drown. At least I drown happily. Yeah, I think it is
And doing
extremely.
what you love.
Sorry.
Drown doing what you love. Drinking.
It's exactly how I see it. It's exactly how I see it.
Unknown liquids.
Yeah.
Possibly water or tea. I don't know.
It's just water, just water. Anyway, I was
Get it cooler when it's suspicious.
yeah. Well, a lot of people do think tea on account of the old Englishness, but no, I'm very boring when it comes to drinking. It's just water, no coffee, no tea, no alcohol, no juice.
Not even soda?
No, because I don't like how the bubbles feel. I don't like carbonated drinks. Yeah, blasphemous, I know.
That's all I live off. I live off the soda. How could you?
Yeah, I just don't. It's a sensory thing. I just don't like that sensation.
I've gone the opposite way of water now tastes funny. I prefer the bubbles.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah,
complete opposite.
I guess it's like chili. Some people like really enjoy spiciness, and I just, oh no, gets in the
Yeah.
way. No, it's important, autistic advocacy, especially within your age group, because I get asked all the time, oh, when you were this age, when you were 15, what was it? Because you're 15, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just think it's so incredibly useful for people to have an actual 15-year-old talking about their experiences, because you provide a window provide them with a
I
window into
I
the.
gotta say, it is kind of funny when you see those books about how to survive school as like a 15-year-old, and then it's like, I'm an author. I am 72-year-old. And
Yeah,
I'm remembering back to my past years. It's like, that's great.
yeah,
Times have changed just a little.
just a
Some
tad.
of these things are no longer applicable, but that's great.
Yeah, and here we are with a cool genius 15-year-old setting the world to right. Awesome. So what kinds of things are you currently doing at the moment? Any projects on the go?
I've
Or
always got projects because
oh yeah,
I'm a cool genius.
of course, as cool geniuses go, they tend to.
That's going to be my thing this life, just the genius thing. I think it's already my thing. Every time I do any form of video or anything, there just becomes, I get something that I fall back onto as my thing. And this time around, it's just the genius
Okay,
with the hand
that's
gestures.
the thing. So
So it's
genius.
my now.
What ingenious what ingenious things are you engaged in?
I'm okay. I'm gonna have to pronounce names. I'm very sorry if they're wrong. I'm currently collaborating with Nadine and Dr. Tracy Conventry. Convoy? Nope. That's very wrong. But they're people,
Okay.
and I'm not quite sure how much I'm allowed to disclose. But I'm creating an animal-assisted therapy program,
Okay.
and that is all I'll say. Because I'm a mysterious cool genius.
That's really cool. It did make me think about school as well. Like, do you remember not being particularly interested in the topics at school, or
Yeah,
was that not the case? And was there
that's
ever a moment? Was there ever a moment when school taught you something that involved animals, and suddenly it was, oh, I like this one, you know.
Actually, alas, I never did anything in school related towards animals, which is a tiny bit of the reason I left distant education and went to homeschooling. Because I was sort of like, look, I want to do animal stuff. You're not giving me the animal stuff. I'm gonna go find the animal
Did you ask
stuff.
that? Did you
I'll
ask
have
that?
it.
Did you because you're obviously very articulate and very efficient in self-advocacy despite your young age. But did you, because I can imagine you saying that when you were younger, like, where's the animal stuff?
Yeah, actually, the moment I was very excited to go to high school because you get to pick subjects. And so my immediate thing was I walked up to the teacher and I was like, right, I'm here for the animals. Your school has an agriculture program. I get to pick things because it's high school. I want to do the animal stuff here. That's like the interesting stuff. I want to go do that. And I was immediately told, you have to wait 2 years before you begin picking subjects, and you have to wait 4 years before you can actually start doing the animal stuff. And I was like, hold up. No, I want to do the animal stuff.
Good, good.
And it was just this whole thing with the teacher where I was like, is there a way I could do the animal stuff here? Could I just like sneak in, or could I
Yeah, skip.
have a cool class, or could I like, because this is what I want to do with my life. I want to continue in the animal stuff. I want to learn what the animal stuff is. And
Sure.
it was just met with this whole entire, you see, we don't do that here. And our agriculture program is in fact about potatoes only. I was very, very slightly disappointed about that. It was cool. I got to farm
Potato-
potatoes for a tiny bit. I
Potatoes
stole
are
a tiny potato. It was
potatoes
really
are
small.
cool. Potatoes are cool, but they're not chickens, are they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually took like it was about that big. It was a very tiny potato, and then I put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and then I ate it.
Was it nice?
No, no, it didn't cook.
Damn, didn't even have that on your side.
No, it was
My
just what.
theory, my theory is for autistic people, they should flip the education system around. So we specialize first, and then when it comes to the
I
essential
actually
life
had a semi-argument, as I call it, with
from,
I'm just doing so much of that. I never did that.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
genius there, isn't there? In particular.
I'm very genius. So I had a what I call semi-argument with a teacher, which is when I feel strongly enough about something to actually say something
Okay,
to a teacher.
right,
And
right.
so I don't remember what grade I was in, but I was in one of the younger grades, way back when. And I said, look, I personally believe as students we should choose what we get to do because I like doing things I like doing, and I'm in like year 4, and learning about World War II history makes me want to cry. It's very sad. Can I just go learn about like the birds and the trees over there or something? Because I would prefer that, and I'd listen more. And like this is what I'm offering to you, teacher. Me
This,
listening to you.
this makes sense to me, and this makes sense to other autistic people. But how would a teacher respond if you spoke to them like that? If you
Giving me time
yeah,
out.
time out,
Yes, time out.
right?
And
Time out.
Conan.
That's gonna completely make your genius disappear.
It's
What more
I'm thinking of a word. It's persistent. My genius is persistent.
right, persistent,
It's
relentless.
my. Hmm.
So yeah, so timeout. That was it. That was their response to,
Yeah.
hey, I'm more
And then
interested.
I do want to point out actually, so between high school and primary school, other way around, you you do like a introduction thing, or you can where you go and see high schools and stuff, and then you get to check it out and stuff. So I asked these types of questions while checking at high schools because I'd never see those teachers again. So I was like, I'm just gonna test this theory of they can't do anything to me right now. And then I just sort of asked all these sorts of can I do this? I want to do this. I'd prefer if I didn't have to dance because I don't like that. I'd really just rather go look at the birds in the tree still. It's been 5 years. I still want to look at the birds in the tree. The timeout didn't help. I
Makes
just.
You weren't asking for a lot. You weren't asking for the unreasonable. Birds in the trees, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, just I want to know what they are, and then I will move. Just a little bit of animal, please.
Well,
And it was immediate.
how dare you be
I'd ask, I'd ask all these questions of I want to learn more about this and this because I'm interested in this. And you know what? I pitched it to one of them while I was doing the high school thing. You could teach me other things through animals, you know. I'm like pitching it like a business idea. You could teach me math and English using animals. I would write an essay about animals sooner than anything else. So if you let me do that, I will write your essay.
Time out.
And it was just sort of like a yes, but we set you a task. You have to write about this book. I'm like, the book doesn't have animals in it. But I take issue with this. I actually read one school book and I think it described like a wild wolf or something. So I wrote most of my paper thing on the wild wolf because I was like, I will make this interesting for myself. They said this limited paragraph about it. I will make this a very long paragraph.
Nice. And then what happened?
Uh, I had to rewrite my paragraph.
Oh man, I wish I didn't ask now.
I
Um,
actually I once during school whenever I had to write stories, I'd always write the story and then fill out the planner because it's easier to just not overthink it and just write it, fix it up, then plan it.
okay.
And I actually had brought it up with a teacher before. I want to plan later. Like I'll fill out your planning, but after. And then
You
the
must have been
teacher
driving them
very
crazy.
and then I think 5 or 6 other people in my class actually said I'd prefer to do that too.
Oh, so you were influencing.
Yes, I was already an influencer.
I was going to say, yeah, yeah.
A very big
I can
thing.
relate to that a lot. Actually, I think some people are just born influential. And I'm not saying that's necessarily always a good thing, by the way, because the stuff I was getting the kids to do was quite, well, I wouldn't repeat it, but yeah, we got to channel it. School is no place for us. You can't have all those big ideas and self-confidence within such a stagnant environment.
Actually, just in education, I keep on wanting to just push in here quickly. I don't remember where I was going with this. No, but I did. I got to remember. During distant education, at distant education, I don't know, distant education, I went there, and I think 3 of my teachers were actually autistic
Right.
because they preferred to teach the way they like to teach,
Ah,
and the system or the curriculum or fancy words, fancy grown-up words, they know what they're talking about. Teacher things. Actually didn't let them teach in an actual school the way they wanted to, and distant education allowed them to do that. So my class actually had lots of autistic teachers and students because everybody there it was a lot freer to do what you wanted, but it still wasn't animal based. So it was like, this is cool and all, but
did you
animal.
find that you got on better with the autistic teachers?
There was yes, so it was all the way it was done. It was all planed out in ways. So, for example, assessments, we had points on each assessment that were checkpoints. If you wanted to hand it in and you could get your grade back right then and there and be told, this is a B grade right now, you can improve that if you'd like, or you can just leave that if you're happy with your B grade. And I was like, oh my God, I love this because I'm not over worried about all of this. Or it was termly planners and there was this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing later. And it was like, all sorts of stuff that I sit there and go, why don't we just do this anyway? Actually, I had one teacher who broke down the curriculum. This is what I have to teach you. This is how they suggest I do it, but this is actually all I have to teach you. You can learn however you so desire. Just prove to me that you've learnt this. Or you can follow this program that I do have written if you would prefer. And it was just all those sorts of things where it was open to whatever you wanted to do and however you learn.
You are a teacher's worst nightmare then. Yeah, and I love that you're proud of it. I love that that's great. That's
They
wonderful.
despise me. They despise me. I'm greatly despised within the teaching community.
It's a compliment
I
when I
shouldn't say
say,
this, actually. I've got a conference very soon. The Inclusive School Conference. I'm going to that. I
yes,
probably shouldn't diss them. Oops.
it's not dissing, it's highlighting the truth in an assertive manner.
I'm pretty sure that's in their eyes. Possible. No, no. I'm gonna shush it.
Well, good. Is all I've got to say.
I'm non-political. I'm non-political here, except the education system has lots of time to improve, and they should start.
Yeah. Hard relate.
Mhm.
There's an autistic person in the comment section saying, "I love birds. I would love to be a bird." Were you ever like this with chickens?
Yes.
Would you want to
But
be a
I mean, I did that with all sorts of things. Just my dog is hitting its head on my thing and it's wobbling it. It's very distracting. Penny, just where were we?
Yeah, autistic person in the comment section saying, "I love birds. I would love to be a bird." Have you ever felt that you wanted to be a chicken or another animal?
All sorts of scenarios. I'd just look at anything and just be like, I could just be you right now.
Okay.
Even just school lunch, a very terrible, terrible time. There's a lot of the whole social dynamic of I hate them, they hate me, you need to pick a side between us, but now we both hate you for some reason and we've united against you and that whole sort of thing. For
Mhm.
some reason it gets very messy very fast.
Okay.
And within any moment it's just finding the nearest thing and going, I could be that leaf right there. Just casually exiting. And no one's worried that that leaf is exiting this. I could just be that leaf and just I used to do that with just random things. That bookshelf. No one is looking at that bookshelf. I could just phase into the bookshelf. Just
Right.
be the bookshelf.
No, right, because
And I'm in a bookshelf.
I was going to ask about masking because a lot of what you said to your teachers seems like it's coming from a really confident place, a confident in who you are. So where does that leave room for masking if it happened at all? But blending in as the bookshelf explains that to me somewhat.
It simply comes from I have been with you for 5 years. I'm moving classrooms. I'll never see you again. I'm going to complain to you now and release the 5 years of emotion.
Thank
And then a lot of you could do so much better. Just do it. Just do so much better, please, in every way.
you.
It's even like the simplest things though. There are, I will say, there are good teachers out there. I have met good teachers. They're really good. I like them when they're good teachers. But lots of basic things could be improved, like going all the way to the student works better sitting on the floor rather than at their desk. Just let them sit on the floor, man.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
can't be that difficult.
it makes sense. It does make sense. To us, it's completely logical, but to them, it's not. These things matter. The trivialities matter significantly
I
to
actually
us.
I've recently done presentations at schools
Yeah.
in a advocating it's not that difficult, seriously, come on manner.
Yeah.
And I've got such a big section where I talk about fidgets. And
Okay.
I'm just like, fidget toys here. Guys, the reason they're distracting in your classroom is because they're not normalized.
Right.
If we normalize them, it's not distracting.
And there's obviously a mistaken belief that if, like, I'm doing it now, for example, if I am actively fidgeting or playing with something, I can't be listening, and that's where
Yeah,
no. It's aiding the process. If I don't play, I don't know what happened then. If I don't play with it immediately,
there was actually got I was very grumpy during that presentation because I was receiving like eye rolls and stuff, and I was just like, no, group of teachers, no. Now hear me out. It's not that difficult. And so I was fidgeting while I was talking. I was like, I'm still talking to you, and I was doing all these sorts of just proving my point things.
Yeah.
to just a room of teachers. Even at the end of my presentation, I stopped and said, I would like it to be noted that I presented the same thing in multiple different ways, reaching, auditory learning. I did some visual, I did this, I did that. I here currently am a 14-year-old, and I did this with no training. You are professional adults. Can't be this hard, please. And just immediately, I don't think some of them liked me very much because I was just a little bit done with them.
Yeah, because trained professionals love being shown up by
Yeah. I
genius
even did
15-year-olds.
talking about the fidgets, I even went to like, if you really want control of your classroom that much, because apparently you doing this and aiding students in learning takes away your control, you can just say what types of fidgets you don't want in your room. If it makes noises like that, or if it does this or does that, you can say you don't want it in your room. That you can just do that if you want to do that. If you want to do reviews on them or how people found them helpful and tie that into English because that's learning or something and you're writing and that's what you want to do as a teacher, you could do that and inspire that. There's like teacher things you could do here. You could do some abstract learning. It's not that difficult. I don't even know how teaching works and I've got this much. I was a tad bit sassy, dare I suggest.
Cool. We need that. We need a sassy and a cool genius all at once.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
How are the Aspect Awards?
That was purely just the best award I've ever been to. Because I normally go to a lot of mainstream sort of stuff, but the Aspect Awards was very open in the sense of, well, exactly how I truly believe a classroom should be. If you want to stand up and walk around just because doing a lap through makes you feel comfortable, or you want to lay on the floor because you'll listen better that way, just go for it. All those sorts of, it was very open and it wasn't a uptight environment or anything, and it was all just sort of do whatever you makes you feel comfortable, you know, just like that, and that was so cool.
Yeah.
I was excited about that.
What were you awarded for precisely?
I received the national recognition. It was at the National Recognition Awards, and I received a different Brilliant Award, the youth version, which is up to 21 years old.
Okay.
That's the name. That's the fancy terminology for you.
Wow.
Um,
Well done.
I think overall I'd actually been nominated for that award 4 years in a row. There was a lot of build up towards this. And it was just for all the things I've done over time, I guess. The Chicken Slove program, the advocacy I apparently do, which I just found out about. The just all of the sorts of things, I guess. I was just sort of told, you do a lot of cool things. They've all smushed together and become one big cool thing now. It's a pretty big cool thing you're doing. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going through the comments section to see if anyone has any questions. The first one I found was, Summer, do you not think that when chickens run, they are like little T-Rexes?
Well, I do believe, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure chickens are the oldest living relative of the dinosaurs. And we're not talking about alligators and sharks and all that, because they're just sort of living dinosaurs. That doesn't count, because they're living dinosaurs. Talk about the closest relatives, not the ones that are alive, you know? So
Yeah.
by technicality, little dinosaurs, man.
Yeah. I don't.
My brother used to say to me that he was very disappointed that the thing we have left of the dinosaurs is tiny chickens, tiny flightless birds.
He says that if it's a bad thing. I think as well, I'm not an expert in this area, but chickens evolved from like pteropods, and it kind of puts to rest the philosophical question: what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know.
Yeah, pteropod.
That irritates me greatly. Just do a little bit of digging. Evolution has it sorted.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree, Summer. Water, no way. Need a bit of fizz.
Yes,
Hey,
yes, yes.
no, no, I'm losing.
Team one for me. I don't know.
Damn. Come on, fellow water lovers. Where you at?
Fellow hydrators, let's go.
Yeah, come on. Um, I love birds. We want to be a bird. Yeah, we've done that one. People are talking about the animal connection. It's very powerful. My daughter says she's a frog. I bet if she... Oh, wait, no, don't jump comments. That was a good one. I can't leave it at that. Well, my daughter says she's a frog. The end. I bet if she could make all her work be about frogs, it would turn out great. It really is that simple, Belinda. It really is that simple. We're interest-based beings, and you engage our interests, and yeah, we can make a lot of...
Yeah, I'm listening.
But what teachers do wrong all the time is that they pretend to use our interests so they can make us work. That never works. We see right through it.
We're smart. We're geniuses.
Exactly. Yes. Well, some of us are. Some of us are so genius that we've got genius gestures like this.
Exactly.
How can I help? Oh, come on. It jumps around a lot. How can I help my 13-year-old engage in school? Mainstream, like you. Could you do an ed session for a school in Glasgow, Scotland? Well, it's somewhat far away from where Summer is.
I'm just a little bit in Australia currently.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit in Australia right now.
Abigail, Scotland and Australia couldn't be further apart, but there we go.
I'm terrible at geography. I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah. Well, if you start digging a hole and keep going through the core of the earth, don't worry about the heat. You know, it's perfectly natural. Keep going, start to get cold again. Eventually, you will probably emerge in the Highlands.
That is just as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Right there. Well, there you go.
But there's a question which precedes the request for you to visit Scotland, which is, how can I help my third? And I'm not good with hows. People know that I'm not good with how can I help this. So that's why I'm breathing rapidly, but I'm going to push through it. If Summer's going to dig through, if Summer's going
to have a cute dog.
Thank you. I feel instantly restored. If Summer can dig through the center of the earth, I can get through this how question. Okay. Well, to be honest, Abigail, we kind of answered it. I mean, Summer. Anyway,
I think there's currently fireworks.
Oh, right. That's why they're scared.
Yes.
All right. What's the occasion?
I live near a school. They just do that sometimes.
This is what I mean. Makes no sense.
Why?
But Summer and I kind of answered that when we were talking about interests. If we're not engaging in school, we are right. No, and don't see it as we. It's not a matter of personality. Our brain is saying no for a good reason. If someone with a peanut allergy, if their body refuses to tolerate,
just give me a sec.
That's all right.
You gotta. She's got the phone playing it, and it's.
I just muted you in case there's like noise sensitive people listening. But I'll unmute in just a moment. Yeah, sorry everyone about the sound. There's fireworks and we know how dogs get. So yeah, anyway, the body of a person with a nut allergy is not wrong for rejecting the peanut. Our brains are the same. It's like if our brain says no to mainstream, it means that there is a better way to educate us, right? And the interest thing is a good place to start. Ask to unmute. There we go. Hi,
that's the first time I've heard fireworks.
What, in your life?
No, in them. The dogs.
Right. Okay.
Maybe.
They're
only like, is it, you know what, 8, 9 months. They're very small.
Okay.
Well, they're actually big now, but they're fully grown. But still, you get they're small as in young.
Young, yeah.
I'm great at this. Just really communicating 100%.
Makes sense.
Right now.
I hate water, says someone. I like fizz, says someone else. Right? Just scroll by and pretend that you guys don't exist. Summer, can you tell us about your work with equine therapy?
Well, I'm currently actually looking into the field, and learning as much as I can about equine stuff, because I personally don't have horses or know anybody who does. I'm not a very social creature, so I don't know many people overall. Well, in person, I know lots of people online, but I'm learning as much as I can possibly about equine stuff because I really do want to get into it, and I'm planning to move to North Queensland, even north of Queensland, um, Tippy Top area. Yeah, I'm doing that at the end of the year. So I'm planning to actually get a lot more into animal therapy stuff when I do that.
Okay, nice, nice. Hi, Summer. I'm Alana. I'm newly diagnosed as autistic. I like art and live near you. Do you like music?
Music actually confuses and then stresses me because I get too worried and overthink it about what it's talking about and what's happening.
That's interesting. Do you find that you pay more attention to the melody or the lyrics more than the other? Because I often, excuse me, I often disregard the story within the lyrics. I often, like on an echolalic level, learn the lyrics, but I haven't bothered to analyze them. And sometimes people say, oh, it's a really good story, that song, and I've got no idea what they're saying because I've never bothered to look into it. Do you see what I mean here? Do you ever get like that with music?
Um, I if I can understand the words, I start to listen to them, and then
Okay.
I overthink them, and then I'm like, oh my god, oh, what is this? What is the meaning? Why is it? I'm confused and I'm scared. And this is supposed to be a happy song. I don't know. Or the
Right.
music isn't telling a relatable story, so I don't understand it in that way. That it's just sort of like I don't. There's a dude. He knows a bunch of other dudes. They go picnicking. That's great. I've never done that. I don't know what's happening at all. And so I actually listen to a lot of like video game 8-bit sort of just light melody. Do 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 do. You know, we thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Just if I need sound on, I don't actually listen to music. It's just no words,
Right.
simple
So
melody.
like classical music, would that work? Like just like
Yeah, I'm very easily persuaded in the emotions region. So listening to music is just immediate like a oh my god, there's so much happening. I'm terrified. I don't know what it is.
okay. Awesome. Makes sense. Oh, hi Chris. Haven't seen you in a while. Chris Binello from Autistic Not Weird says, my favorite songs are usually in foreign languages. That way they have the same vocal expression, but without it being distracting. Of course, video game music needs to be more fully appreciated as a genre.
Yes, yes,
That's a
yes.
really good point. I
I
like that.
love me some. I listen to video game music and go, I don't know what game this is, but man, this is some great. They got some great melody music in here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That
great.
is that is a good point. I've realized that over the years, often the songs that get in my head are found on video games. Wow, that's a really interesting point. Cool. And clearly,
Yes.
I mean, you strike me as someone who has a love for the English language. Would you say that's correct? You seem very, you seem like you use a lot of cool, interesting, genius words that one would expect. Um, so what do you
I
like with
use
what do you like with poems? Because I know a lot of autistic people who get so angry with poems. They're like, just say what you mean. Whereas I kind of like the mystery and the crypticness. I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're
yeah.
saying.
I like it, but also I'm very particular with the way it is, I guess. But if we could just pedal back to the English language overall, the English language is a bunch of languages smushed together, and I gotta say, spelling sucks.
Okay,
Just like I'm just putting that one out there. That's me. Just truly, no one will ever change my mind. Spelling sucks.
spelling.
A lot.
So, as in
Just
English spelling sucks.
yes, I dislike it greatly. In fact, when I'm messaging people, I'll type in a word and then I'll go, it doesn't know what I want. I'm
Mm,
gonna have to take back this word and find a simile for this word that's smaller so I can know what I'm saying.
makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Someone says, where are we? Hi, Summer. What would a relaxing day look like for you?
It's mostly, I think at the moment my favorite thing to do is dog training with my dogs because they're so cool. It's
Okay.
like an excuse to hang out with them, but they're my dogs.
You said you had 3 dogs in the room when we first started.
Yes,
Are those the only dogs, or are there more?
that's alas.
Okay, fair enough.
I've got 3 dachshunds. They're Carl, Leonard, and Penny.
Okay, nice, nice.
Leonard and Penny are from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah, of course. Let's have a look. People.
I'm creative like that.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for Summer Farrelly? Anything exciting coming up, or anything that you want to do in a few years?
I'm currently working on creating or looking at creating, or I have to, it will take many years. Um, many ancient long years. I'm going to create some form of care farm when I move. But first I
Okay.
have to move, get settled in moving, work out how that actually works, and then all of that. But yes, doing a care farm, which I probably should explain because people don't immediately know when I say words. I probably should elaborate on my words. So I should start doing that, talking about doing that.
Cool. So
So,
what would
care farm is sort of like having a bunch of therapy animals or learning animals or assistance animals just on a farm area and having people come and do animal assisted or animal therapy programs or practices and stuff there because animals are cool.
I mean, that does sound pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I get
And
that.
it's also an excuse to have lots of animals.
I was going to say, yeah. Apart from chickens, any particular favorites?
I quite like lizards.
Okay. The thing is, you live in Australia, so your wildlife is substantially cooler than ours. We don't
Uh,
really.
no, you've got a
So when
what?
so if you say lizard to an English person, we've got a very stereotypical image of a lizard in our head. Lizard to Australia may have different
You've got
images.
blue tongue lizards, bearded dragons.
All right, cool, yeah, yeah.
And you got those, possibly.
We have them as pets.
We've got them as both.
Yeah, they're considered an exotic pet here because you wouldn't find them in the wild. I know, that's what I mean. It's lame. That no, I'm not even joking. That is an exotic pet. Right.
I'm not making fun of you. No, wait. Do you have squirrel? I can't pronounce squirrels. I
we have
have to come
we
clean. I can't.
so now the red squirrel is native to Great Britain. However, in the 1800s, the grey squirrel was brought over from North America, and that's largely wiped out the red squirrel population, save for some places in the Highlands or Brownsea Island or other National Trust areas.
Probably shouldn't make fun of this, but I just got to point out. So you're telling me there was a squirrel war?
There was a squirrel war, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that kind of sucks because the red squirrel's lovely. And
Yep.
not the grey squirrels aren't. I don't know. It's just hit and miss. My son has a white tree frog as an exotic pet. I believe they are native to Australia, says Karen.
We have lots of many frogs here. I probably we just have lots of frog. I'm trying to think. What if we've got emus? No, you might have. No, emus are in Australia.
We definitely do not have wild emus running around.
We've got emus.
Yeah, you do.
Actually, in history, we had an emu war in Australia. We lost.
Weird. Someone literally said that as you said it. We had an
Yes,
emu war. So yeah,
we lost. We lost the emu war.
that's a shame.
Yeah, we're not very equipped, I guess. I don't really know many details except we wasted a lot of ammunition and a lot of guns in the war against emus because they were ruining our farming.
Okay. Whose
And
side?
we
Whose side are you?
didn't kill them. I mean, it was a very long time ago, but probably the emu side. I like to be on the winning side.
Yeah.
But also
I
we
mean,
did just
I'm
sort of
sorry if you were a farmer,
yeah.
but
We
I'm
did also
on
sort of
team.
come in and go, guess what, emus? We now own this and you cannot touch it. We did just sort of do that to the two, though. I say we like I was involved. Maybe great ancestors of mine were.
Yeah, I'm still on team emu, no matter how people justify it.
Yeah. We did. I can't believe we lost a war to emu.
Yeah.
History. I only know the funny parts, cause
Are you ADHD as well, or just autistic? Just autistic.
yes, I believe I am ADHD. Yes. I found out I do have a diagnosis for that. I thought I got halfway through, but then didn't get a diagnosis. But I think I do have one. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Oh, we have another question for Summer from Belinda. Summer, sorry I missed the beginning of your live chat, so I'm not sure. Are you homeschooling now? If so, what are some more difficult things about it, and what helps you to manage it?
I am homeschooling. I think I'm still enrolled in homeschool, but I'm studying part time, which basically covers my homeschooling. I'm doing a Cert 2 in animal studies because I have to prove that I can work at a year 10 level because I hit year 10, which is when you can start studying. And I just sort of hit and went, see ya, bye bye. Animal stuff now. I can legally go do this. I'm gonna do the animal stuff. So that's kind of just what I've done. But for a year or two before that, I don't know my own life timeline. A year or two before that, I was being homeschooled. I think the most difficult thing for me was having myself a timetable because I'm not one for keeping track of time very well.
Okay, ADHD.
I'm very bad at it, in fact, just terrible.
Okay.
Terrible overall. Actually, I still am. I'm supposed to write myself a timetable to study better, but I haven't. I should probably do that at some point.
You've just proven your ADHD. Well done.
Yeah, see, I did say apparently it's very obvious. I personally just do not see it, but apparently it's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ask for those reasons. I asked because the conversationally, because I just branch out to other things, like it's free association, and you seem to do that too. That's why I asked. Right, so I think we've got time for one more question, and here we are from Gail. My 5-year-old is the adult in the house. I'm struggling with taking the backseat in life. Does this sound familiar?
Apparently I was, in fact, as I said, not only a very sassy child, but I was a very capable child. Apparently I was also just so much more courageous than I am now.
Okay.
I very much so. I hear great stories of how I just, in fact, if I wanted it, it would happen. In fact, I've got the great story of we all went to the park as a family, me and my two brothers, and I didn't personally want to go to the park. So when the doors opened and my brothers ran both ways, I turned to my mum and said, you can't chase them both, and you know what? You can't leave me in this car either, and I'm not hopping out of it. Child Protective Services will have a word if you leave me in this vehicle.
And on
So
that
we all packed up and we went home.
wonderful. And on that
I was
note, we are at the end now. So thank you, Summer, for speaking with me today, this morning, today, this evening for you. Whatever it is, there's no time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for your questions. This will be going on YouTube in a couple of days. And yes, for those of you who always ask, this stays on Facebook and you can watch it as many times as you like. Awesome. There we go. That was the Naughty Autie with Summer Farrelly. I'm going to stop streaming now. Summer, if you could stay right there. The rest of you, goodbye. See you in a couple of weeks.